mustache.
That's good.
Beard thing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Nerds on Quest. I am your host, Norm.
Another? What?
What?
We haven't been around forever.
Well, it's still another. I mean, we have like 140 of these bad boys in the bank.
Yeah.
Joining me on your screen in the upper left-hand corner is one Mr. DMJC. How you doing, John?
Talking out of turn. I'm doing great. I am on Cloud 9. Linkin Park is back and better than ever. And just like us, back and better than ever. We got
are
some
back.
shiznit we're going to discuss today. It's going to be fun.
We have a new drummer. We have a new lead singer.
Spirit the horse.
We have a horse, of course.
And much like Brad Delson, the guitarist of Linkin Park, who isn't going on tour with them, he's just going to write songs and plan the concerts. We have that in Rick.
Sure.
He's not going to be on... But we'll get into that more later.
All right. Directly above me, one Mr. Genius. How you doing, Jeff? We haven't seen you in a hot minute.
Doing good. Thinking that last conversation means we need a horse and a drummer. So, Centaur Bard? No?
Centaur
Can you play
Bard
drums
does seem
with
accurate.
I don't think
Centaur
Centaur
Bard with a good sense of rhythm.
I'm guessing the Centaur was not in the player's handbook, so
No.
Could be.
I haven't
And
gotten that far yet.
finally, straight to, well, I guess that would be my left. Yeah, my left. I'm trying to figure out
hard.
the camera. Is one lovable giant Kooch. How you doing, Kooch?
Roku.
Fantastic. Just, it's a good day to be a Brewers fan. Not as great a day to be a Packers fan, but the things are looking great for the Brewers to lock it up and move into the playoffs with a top seed. So, I don't know. I've got everything I need in life.
That's fair.
Just need a little D&D.
There you go, boys. That's what we're here to do.
Yes. Yes, we are. So,
Tom, if
You'll
you'd
notice-
like me to take the lead on this, I have like an outline
oh, do you?
of things to discuss. Yes. So, for reasons, there's been a lot of discussion. A lot of discussion on the backside of things. As you've noticed, we've been noticeably absent for the last 2 months. There's been a lot of discussion about things. Many different things, burnout, vacations, the prior commitments, family stuff. It's all
Holidays.
led to us taking a real backseat and looking at things of how we want to move forward. And part of that is Rick has stepped away. He doesn't want to be part of it anymore. He's got other things he wants to prioritize in his life on his Sunday mornings, which is completely fine. We wish him all the well. He will be here in spirit as long as Tom doesn't reset our loadouts for our screens. But one big thing, and when I mentioned burnout in this, I personally was having a lot of system burnout. Now I get excited by new things very easily. And diving in the OGL was scary at first when that thing came out, and I went, fuck, they're gonna cease and desist us, and there was all the doom and gloom surrounding it, and Hasbro being a bitch ass corporation. They're still a bitch ass corporation. So we jumped to Pathfinder, and Pathfinder has a lot of really good, solid mechanics that we all enjoy for various reasons. Then we started ducking into, like, I dived into Shadow Dark, and we're looking at Critical Roles, Daggerheart, and the DC 20 system coming, and MCD, all those things coming along the lines, and it's like my head just started fracturing inside, and it's like I'm not a person to as much as it seems like it, dabble in a lot of different things. I will touch things very quickly for small amounts of time. That sounds
Touch a lot.
Phrasing.
phrasing, absolutely. But typically, I am a person that goes whole hog into one thing.
Also phrasing.
And balls deep into one thing. Let's go with it all right here. To an excessive point, like to the point where I have a mug that actually has the D&D logo on it. There is, in looking at all these systems, some of them are neat for other reasons. Some of them are easy, quick, nice to use, but very shallow. And then some of them have really, really cool concepts and really neat ideas, like Pathfinder, but are insanely deep, like too deep for me as a DM. I played Pathfinder when 5e came out. I went to it immediately because it was not as complicated, but allowed the depth. And I've been looking for that in a game, and every game that seems to come out, the closest one to having that same balance is Daggerheart, in my opinion. Every other one seems to have a layer of complexity that is a bit beyond me, or change enough that it's a bit beyond me personally. So all that being said, and to support some of my favorite people in the world, i.e. Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins, we're going to go back to D&D. At least when I run things. We'll start with a campaign. I think we're starting next week. How do you guys feel about that? Anyone have anything they want to add to that conversation?
I think the only thing I would add is like I can see us getting some backlash from the one person or two people that actually listen to this because we did bash D&D, the whole concept. But I'm one of those people who can compartmentalize. I understand that more than one person puts effort into a product. It's like people, just as an example, and this is stop me if you've heard this one before, but Kevin Spacey's an asshole, and
yes.
And people will not watch his movies based on him. I am able to watch those movies like, American Beauty, because there's like literally thousands of other people that have put effort into that movie. If that makes any sense.
But you're gonna go out, I'm able to watch American Beauty because of Mina. Sorry. I'm like, that's gonna come off wrong.
But you get my point.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally do not have an issue going back to D&D because it is in fact a group effort.
Yeah,
that's me.
And the people that actually make it are cool as fuck,
mm-hmm.
and it's their corporate overlords that are fucking the system up. Mm-hmm. And since we've been away, they've started doing all kinds of cool shit, like in D&D Beyond. Like there's a map thing in D&D Beyond that I'd like to poke at with this first campaign to replace Owlbear.
Sure.
So that'd be interesting too.
What were you gonna say, Kooch?
I was just gonna say I prefer a system really pretty close to D&D Beyond, just because of all the tools that support that play, and that's something that I get into just because I'm not as deep into everything else. So like, it took me a long time to get into Pathfinder and figure out spells, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure I understand all the things I was using to the complexity level that I needed to make sure I was doing it right. D&D Beyond, I don't feel like has that issue. If I Google it, there's 50 Reddit threads about how that spell functions or how those situations come up. So the support system is there for me as a casual user to make sure I have what I need to do things right, to enjoy the game without, 2 months down the road having someone say, Ryan, you were doing this wrong the whole time, and then, okay, well, it kind of ruins the enjoyment a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So I appreciate just the tools that are available with D&D Beyond. So,
well, I think when you've got some of the same or similar minds to how Magic has been created over the years, you have a lot of very concise, very specific, like this does this and only this in this situation. Or Pathfinder, there was a lot of, well, this does this, but look at this other rule to see if it interacts with that, and look at this other rule to see how that would happen. And I liked how complex Pathfinder was, but only because I love perusing the rules until we find the answer. And that's not something you can do, when you're not playing very often, or when you're playing online streaming. You can't just take a 20-minute break to check a rule, So.
Yep.
Nerd.
Yeah. True.
The next thing on my outline here was timings. And now we've had some discussions about this, but I wanted to kind of nail it down a little bit better. Typically, we have struggled in the summer months of putting together a complete show. The other thing that pops up in my mind is that Ryan's tax season has always been a hit and miss whether or not he'd be around. So in that, I want to start a discussion. It has been mentioned. How does everyone feel about chunking us off? Like when Memorial Day hits, we don't play again then until Labor Day. That would take all the fuzz out of having, trying to piece together a different campaign or a squad and then having all these fractured storylines everywhere. Although as cool as they all are, but there's so many
But we haven't
open-ended
finished.
hanging storylines we haven't finished that
We have like
it
6 we haven't
feels,
finished.
yeah, I mean, for me, it starts feeling like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
do you guys feel okay with that? Like Jeff and Ryan, I mean, mainly, I know me and Tom have talked about this.
Yeah, I mean, I because I have, basically plans, and it ends up at least like every other weekend in the summer. For me, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say because, I can be here when I can be here, but I can't when I can't, kind of a thing. So whatever you guys want to do is fine. And if that's kind of a, everybody's excited about doing some kind of a summer one shot that isn't gone regularly, that's fine too. And if it's just a matter of, hey, let's just get together and talk on the weeks that we can, just to have some content, that's fine too.
And I was going to say too, there's enough of us that play video games that if there's some cross-platform, like I play PC, John plays PS5, Kooch, you play both, right?
PS5, Xbox.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, we can hop in here at 8:30 on a Sunday morning and all hop into a game that we all have and just fuck around for an hour and a half. I mean, if you guys are up for that on weekends that we don't have shit.
The nice thing is we're as far away from that decision having to be made as the calendar
As we'll ever be.
Yeah.
Well, that and the other thing, I think, Jeff, you hit it like summer one-shots. Ooh. Maybe just that summertime period, because of how fractured it is, that would be like, if we do get the bug up our butt to when Daggerheart launches, to try it. Okay, we try it for a one-shot. And that's not something anyone has to commit to. We could even bring in guests, like extend a hand to Alquin and see if he would want to do it, or our other friend Mike, or anyone that wanted to hop in the Discord and play a game. I have several people that would hop in
and if it was known to be limited to a session or two, you know that you'd be able to fit it in the summertime, or or a couple of them, or whatever the case is. So that you wouldn't necessarily have to make sure it's every week during the summer, but like, hey, these 2 weeks in a row, can everybody who wants to be in it make it? Okay, we're doing these 2 weeks or 3 weeks and done. And then if there's another 3 weeks that works, then squeeze another one in. But yeah, I will probably have to look out of this.
I would just want it to be clear that I don't believe that I'm gonna have conflicts during quarter one, although like I'll feel a little burned out and tired by the end of that quarter. I don't believe that there was a lot of conflicts last year.
it didn't feel like it.
Yeah, I do think during summertime, the priority just isn't there. And trips and vacations and stuff like that, and then staying out late on Saturdays and then trying to turn it around onto a Sunday morning, like it just isn't. It isn't
Late
as
night
critical.
bonfire on a Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, and it isn't as critical a feeling to like make sure we're on top of it. But I think we just have to be clear. To your point, we have to be clear to the audience, Tom, like on what to expect. And as long as we're clear to the audience and those that do support us, who we love and we want to interact with, like then they're gonna know. I don't want them to check in and no show again, no show again, no show again until they stop checking in, and that's worst case scenario, because we do it because we love it, but we also know if there's any value we can provide to others, that's a huge thing. I correlate this to Genius Beth, sending us that text message or email that she got from somebody playing our game in Australia. Like they're playing Envy in Australia, and she's like, we had a howling good time. It's like, that's awesome. I mean,
How
we
the fuck
enjoyed
did it
making
get to Australia? It's awesome.
Gen Con.
It was someone from Gen
Nice.
Con.
New York
Nice.
City.
Oh. But yeah, it's just like that payoff. You want that payoff to be there for them too. Otherwise, we could do this without recording it. So
Yeah, and I think giving it a structure, like being honest with ourselves, understanding when we have our weak time periods, and giving it a structure. And in that sense, Ryan, also with it being like you burn out through tax season, then when the summer rolls around, you got recovery. Like, I mean, yeah, you're going and hanging out with family, but you're vacationing. You get to focus on vacationing without having to worry about bringing the laptop and tuning in from wherever you are. Or all of you, Jeff, trying to worry about whether or not you're here or not for it. So what I'm kind of thinking then, in that essence, if it's going to be a Labor Day to Memorial Day type thing, is that there would be two. This is as far as campaigns. I'd like to do two smaller campaigns within that time period. One in the fall to like mid-January, and one from mid-January to Labor Day or Memorial Day. Memorial Day. Brain's not functioning. It's early. I haven't had enough coffee. Now, in that sense, DMing. Now, I know, Ryan, you typically haven't DM'd, and I don't know that you ever have had any interest in trying it. Jeff, I know you
certainly would, but I'll tell you, I don't think I would have to set aside the time intentionally to put that stuff together.
Yeah.
Or it just wouldn't happen. So.
That's fair. That's completely fair. Jeff, I know you have DM'd for family and stuff. Would you ever have any interest in trying this?
Yeah,
and it's a lot to ask. Say, here, would you like to DM for the first time on a stream?
Oh, that's the thing. I'm not sure if I would want to make my my grand debut, at least outside of family, on a streaming. But maybe we'll squeeze a one shot in sometime and get my feet wet. So
that would be a perfect way to do it, I would think.
We'll go with maybe.
Maybe. All right. Tom, clearly you and I DM frequently, so I don't know if you want to get back to what you were doing or find a way to get the three of us into what you were doing come January. And we'll jump in next week with this idea I have that I can explain a little bit as we go on. And
Yeah.
I'll run us to the end of that through the holidays, and then you take the second half. And that's kind of what I was thinking is, and then we'd have 2 seasons per year or 2 campaigns per year, and fall campaign, spring campaign, and take the summer off and establish
I'll see
rhythm.
what I can.
I hear the women like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. We can have that discussion because there's some things I can do, especially for switching from Pathfinder to D&D again, and then plus we wouldn't be using Foundry. So yeah, I mean, the maps are the maps. I could put the maps anywhere. Those are
Mhm.
made. Those are fine.
Mhm. Well, I know, Tom, I think you had the Axe and Rand campaign. I think you had purchased some additional ones that we never got to.
Yeah,
So
and
there's, you
yep.
know,
I have two of those. Plus, there's another 4 that attach to the back end. They're all leveled one shots. So, I think what we did was a level 1 and a level 2. I still have a level 3 and a level 4, and then I can go ahead and get the level. I think it's 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's like it's like $10. They're all just
Cool.
kind of interconnected, spooky one shots.
Now, all that being said, I'm not in it, but there is a Foundry style like 3D tabletop. Now, Jeff, that may not function for you on your technology, sir. So we may
We'll
be
figure it
limited
out.
to Owlbear
Yeah,
or something like Foundry.
Well,
Like
see,
that
I
would
mean,
be
I'm able to use Fantasy Grounds on Wednesday nights, so
Foundry would probably work on your stuff. This new D&D Beyond, I forget what the code name is for it that I signed up for the beta test. That is the 3-dimensional tabletop. Like the 3D processing power of what you got probably isn't going to run that. It will be heavier use than Demiplane for sure. So I don't know that
Okay.
that's ever going to be a function that we're going to be
Well,
able to pull off on this podcast. So we'll be limited to
we'll cross that bridge when we get
and
there.
for Foundry,
or the
I was gonna say for Foundry, it's browser based. So the problem is real estate in that browser. They want you to be on a bigger screen. So we can try. I can invite you, and we can pop in, and we can see exactly what you can see and how easy is it for you to manage and navigate. Because if you can,
Mhm.
I mean, I was enjoying Foundry. I can put,
there's some neat shit with it. I'd like to see D&D inside of it.
Mhm.
A system I understand and know, like wholly from playing it for years at this point.
A long time.
so I mean, I'll create a D&D world. Like that takes creating the actual world and installing it takes like 2 minutes. And then you can, if you guys really actually want to mess around with Foundry and D&D, I can just create a just a basic map, and you guys can throw some characters in there and fuck around. But that's something else. That's we can talk about that in Discord or whatever.
Here's the other thing that people are gonna get from this that they haven't really gotten before. They've gotten it in snippets where I've had to, and it's been some of our best shit, honestly. They've gotten it. They've gotten some of it. Everyone remembers when we went from the starter set to the Rime of Icewind Dale, and we went through, the fuck's the name of the city? The Thief City, where you guys ended up stealing from that shop and having to get the fuck out of town.
Starting the city on fire.
Yeah.
Was it me? No.
Homebrewing.
Definitely wasn't me.
Homebrewing stuff for you guys. And that's where I'm really gonna go with these smaller things. Is I may steal and borrow heavily from places, but it will be my twist on things. And I really enjoy doing that, and I would like to start using this as the outlet for that instead of my home games, because my home games I tend to think so huge that it gets overwhelming.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
cool.
massive story setup that I just put the kibosh on because I can't. It's too much, especially at the rate I was playing. And this
it would've been
being a
7-year
consistent week after week after week thing, and then the constraints of, hey, you have 4 months to tell this story, will rein in my wild creative mind enough to make it manageable for my sanity, for my mental health.
Yeah,
Instead of
we definitely don't want
feeling so
anybody.
weighed down by my own creative efforts.
We definitely don't want anybody to burn out. We want this to be fun, and we want it like towards the end of your last one with Pathfinder, where we were in the Rime. You had said that everybody kind of seemed not invested.
Yeah.
And
in the gauntlet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or the gauntlet.
Just going down, and it's room after room after room, and there's no
variation.
Yeah,
a lot of repetition.
And me personally, I didn't feel tied to Otari at all. Like,
yeah, we don't want that. We want to be invested
Yeah.
like we were with Aranon and Ellie, and you know,
Well, and that was the thing. I think we could have been tied to Otari, but we barely spent any time there. It was like, go get your stuff, get ready. Hey, we're going back to the rooms kind of thing. I think if it was more of like, I think how we envisioned TBD of sending us on adventures for the town, I think it would have been more like that. But we're following the book, so it was what it was.
and that will also be the thing with these smaller adventures. I won't feel so tied to TBD. Like, with the story will turn around in 4 months' time, and we can pop back and mention TBD, or they can just be there somewhere in any of the smaller adventures. They'll
We can
become
go
less.
rent equipment from them.
There'll be a less of a strict storyline about TBD, and it will be like Sid in Final Fantasy, where there's just a TBD outlet. A TBD bar, like the adventurers bar in any city you go to is going to be a branch of TBD. Type thing.
it's going to end up being like a Fuddruckers, like a belching dragon in every city, and Ellie's going to be the franchise manager, and we got to run it up the flagpole to Ellie.
I really kind of like the idea. Yeah, this is like Ellie will be this unknown entity to all these people that run these establishments. Is like, this is Ellie's the but the idea of it being like Sid in Final Fantasy, because Sid was different every time he showed up. Like, even in 16, one of probably my second favorite version of Sid. If you ever played 15, you might have seen my first. Anyways. Just different every time, and it's not held to any structure, but the idea and the name and the founders, like, those things will be the consistency across it, but it won't be there or need to be there necessarily.
TBD will be more of a lore than an active character.
And I already have an idea.
You could imagine, like, in a frontier town, the TBD is the only thing holding the town together, but in something that's in a well-established city that, is not in any threat, it's probably more of just a bar.
It's more of a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Go look at all
None of the weapons
shit
hanging on the walls are real. they're all mock-ups of famous weapons and shit on the walls.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
just a
that idea.
friar tux.
Yeah, whenever somebody
exactly.
opens up a location, they get sent the starter kit where it's like a whole bunch of shit that somebody's making back at TBD at Belching Dragon proper, and sometimes you get the axe where you have a corner chipped off because it got broken in transit, and
There's a box that says the wind cutter, and you open it up, and it's just empty.
boo.
It's a pair of brackets to hang on the wall with a plaque that says the wind cutter. Oh, that's funny. That's good shit. All right. Well, that's what we're doing and where we're going, and we have a lot of time left.
So why don't you explain to us
I was
what you're thinking of with character creation and stuff? Because it sounded like you're going to be oddly specific in what you want to do.
Let me explain to you what I'm doing.
Can I sneak in one more question? I know this
Yeah,
came up
absolutely.
casually.
Yeah, before we start going future-wise.
I know we had talked about, kind of with the reboot here, if the amount of time was right, if there was, sometimes we do end up jaw-jacking a little at the beginning if we wanted to extend that at all, or if we're at a hard limit. I know that was just a casual thing that came up. I'm not committed to anything, but if that hour and a half is still the right amount.
I have wanted to for a while be at a 2-hour thing and not push it any later in the day, but start a half hour earlier. And I don't know if that's something people would be okay with. Like, if we started at 8 and went from 8 to 10 and just give us a little more time to be like, because so often it feels like we get into something and then we're stopping. Like, we're just getting into the meat of playing, and suddenly the brakes got to be put on because it's 10. Where I think if we started at 8 and had a little bit of jaw jacking, we're actually playing by 8:15. Those moments might not be as frequent.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Does that work for Ryan? Right, Ryan's raising his eyebrows like I could get up earlier.
I don't have a problem waking up. I may have a problem being present until 8:15. So
Coffee.
just drag me through it until we're there.
All right.
That'll-
That's where the limerick and the
Little-
recap will get you there.
A little
Yeah, the
soft.
limerick and recap will get you to your wake up point. All right. So then what we are looking at then is Memorial Day to Labor Day, 2 seasons, fall and spring, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Sundays. The all new Two Nerds One Quest kicking off next week. Although, don't go anywhere yet, folks. If anyone's out there listening to us, I'm gonna start talking about what we're doing next week. I won't wait for Tom to come
Tom's
back.
not
Oh,
even
there he is. He's not even there. He
He
got
won't
up
remember
and
it
left.
anyway.
He's got dogs, man. Dogs are the worst. Right, Tom?
Dogs suck.
According to my shoes, they absolutely are the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you got one of them
Yeah, I mean,
types.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
dog you're stuck
Yeah.
with,
Bad.
eventually your kids
Have
will
you
go
slipped and fallen in it yet? Though that's the worst thing is when you slip on one and you fall and you put your hand in another one.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you. I just have. I wear a lot of Allbirds, and they have slip-on inserts, and my dog just loves pulling out the inserts and gnawing on the back of them. And so I've got to. I pick up my shoe and the insert's gone, and I got to walk around the house finding it.
Like, where is my insert? And then you hope it's in one piece when you find it.
Right.
Have you
got it.
tried
Yeah,
like
exactly.
spraying it with like the sour apple?
Ah,
Or whatever it is they
And my
put on
feet will-
Nintendo DS cartridges.
my feet
or
will
Switch
smell like
cartridges.
sour apple, but maybe that's a win. I don't know.
It doesn't smell really. It's just
Ryan.
more of a taste thing.
Ryan, how close is your Nintendo Switch to you right now?
Well, my Switch is upstairs in my bedroom.
Do you have any Switch cartridges near you?
Oh yeah, I had one in my mouth just the other day, and I tasted it for 45 minutes. Yeah,
I wanted. They are coated
No, I mean,
with
that's-
something that keeps kids
You
from
take it
putting them
out,
in their
you
mouth
put
and
it-
swallowing. You
you
put
put
it in
it
your
just
lips.
in your
because you got
lips.
your hands. You're doing stuff, and you put
Yeah,
it there, and
right.
it gets a little wet. And
Right.
I totally get why you
those
put it there.
doors, like those
Yeah.
freaking doors. I need both hands to like pry that door open with my nail. It's all right. Anyway.
And you're holding a $300 piece of equipment. And you don't want to drop it.
right. Champagne problems. I know, but it's a
Exactly.
problem.
Exactly. Champagne problems. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, moving forward, first campaign, the first thing I'm going to do, and it's really kind of what solidified this, and this is going to sound awful, but what solidified this was Rick leaving. Because he's the one that would know this stuff. Because the three of you never really got into World of Warcraft. And there are cool ass stories in that game. And one of my favorite ones is what I want to try and tell. And I was thinking about it, and I saw a YouTube video about it the other day, and I went, this would be a great small D&D campaign to run this. So, in that light, you're going to get the restrictions of early World of Warcraft racing class combination for the flavor of it.
So humans and orcs.
No, not even orcs. You aren't on the orcish side of things. You may see orcs, but they're going to be on the other side of things. So the races are human, dwarf, elf, and gnome that you can be. And then, Jeff, you may want to leave some space here. Humans can be mages, or wizards, I should say. Wizard, paladin, cleric, rogue, warlock, and fighter. If you're not human, Or if you are a human, those are the only classes you can be. Got it?
I'm writing them down for everyone. Well, I suppose John's got them written down.
I got them written down too. I can type them out and throw them on the Discord. Dwarves, you can be a ranger, paladin, cleric, rogue, or fighter. I think the only one I'm missing that isn't represented in any of them is the monk. Isn't here. That and the wizard is like wizard and sorcerer. I'm looking at the list here. Oh, yeah. Elves can be druid, ranger, cleric, rogue, or fighter. I have half of these written down as the WoW name. That's why I said mage the first time. And then gnomes can be wizard, rogue, warlock, or fighter. So it leaves out the sorcerer and the monk, basically.
And bard.
Oh, and bard. And yeah, there's no bard. Barbarian? And barbarian. Although the fighter is kind of barbarianish. Depending on the way it worked is it was a warrior and you had the choice to go with two weapons typically, or actually any of the ones that can be fighters could be, I'm going to say any ones that could be fighters could also be barbarians, and any ones that could be mages could also be sorcerers. I will allow that. And then that will leave the bard and the monk out of it, basically. You will all be part of the alliance side of the war. You will all be being sent to Northshire Abbey to help handle a incursion of bandits at the Northshire Abbey. And that's where that whole adventure is going to start.
What level are we going for?
I'd said 1. Like, I mean, we could even pop into character creation if you guys have ideas, or if you just want to discuss ideas and then flesh them out. But likely level 3. We'll start at level 3 and go through we'll probably get to 6 maybe, or we could start at 4 and maybe go to 8-ish.
That's up to you. That's DM rules.
Mm-hmm.
And are we doing no expansion stuff? Just all straight.
The Player's Handbook 2024. Let's do that.
Okay. I want to be sure that I don't like check in like all this extra shit.
Turn off legacy content. Basically, when you create your character, turn off legacy content, and we'll run with Player's Handbook 2024. Strip down D&D.
I was bombing around a little bit. There's really 2 components to that 2024 handbook. There's what they call the free rules, which are like just a couple things, and then the 2024 handbook. So if you like, where's human as an option? It's in the free rules, not the handbook.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
Yep. That's interesting that they separated those.
It's just in certain elements of your character creation, you'll go through and it's like, wait a second, I have to be a tiefling? Like, what's going on here? But then you click on the free rules, and that's where elf, human, stuff like that, like your very common selections are.
Yeah. And if this goes well and this functions well, and I can tell a compelling story using the structure of the story that's there already, I may want to do this. There's a couple of other storylines at different levels that are very, very cool that have been, like, everyone talks about the Scarlet Monastery being one of the best dungeons in the game, and the whole story surrounding the Scarlet Monastery and the zealot religious folk that basically were annihilating towns because they didn't want them to become undead, and hanging them in trees and shit. Stuff like that. And who knows? There is also a headless horseman thing that pops up in game, like around Halloween. he may show up, maybe. I don't know. We're rolling through Halloween. If you're around Goldshire, it's possible. We'll see.
I'll say the biggest thing we did try way back in person. We tried doing a World of Warcraft campaign where it was actually D&D modded to the different races and classes of, is it Azeroth or
Yeah.
is that the place?
Azeroth is the
so
world. Yeah.
the biggest thing you're gonna have to remember is while some of us might have played Hearthstone, we don't have lore down.
Oh
really.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
we may know a couple people's names if they were character cards, but beyond that,
Mhm.
you know, and so just make sure you don't assume that we know
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
anything.
And that's going to be part of making it my own story. Like I was saying, it's inspired by this, and I may use names and towns, but you aren't going to be like interacting with Jaina or Thrall or King Varian or anything. Well, maybe Varian. I don't know. There may be some of that towards the end, but there's a
the
neat
names have been
story
changed to
here.
protect the innocent.
Yeah.
Dun dun.
There's a very neat story here in that I like in the beginning of this that will have some memorable characters, I think. So
That's cool. So okay, so we have basically we have some free time during class now to discuss what we want to do, huh?
yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about the surrounding area. The Northshire Abbey is near the human capital city of Stormwind. So primarily the population is going to be human in this area. The elves live on a separate continent far away. Like if you're an elf, you're going to be a rarity in this part of the world, but there are still elves in this part of the world. The human capital city connects to the dwarven capital city via an underground tram that runs to the dwarven city is called Ironforge. And then near Ironforge is the gnomish city of Nomergon that has been overrun with their robot creations. They've been chased out of their own city by their creations. And so most of the gnomes have taken refuge in Ironforge. So the majority of the population will be human, followed by dwarves and gnomes, and then the rest would be elves in this area. You will have been sent by a commanding officer of the Stormwind military to Northshire Abbey to help with this encroachment of bandits. That's what the call is, and that's what your initial purpose will be.
Are there any racial specific like tensions or feelings as far as like the elves are very rare? Are they highly regarded? Are they feared? Or same thing with like the gnomes or the dwarves? Anything that you're going to include in your campaign at least? I mean, I know probably in the original.
Not that I would include in my campaign, but elves in this world are the magical beings. Like there are elves on both sides, and the elves on the Alliance side are peace, harmony, nature style elves, and where the elves on the Horde side are kind of using life to create magic, like a very dark style magic. They're more like magic vampires than magic users that pull magic from things and channel it to use it, where the elves are more about getting in line with the natural magic of the world and channeling it. Mm-hmm. Gnomes are the tinkerers. They're the ones that build stuff. A lot of times you'll see them riding on contraptions or having contraptions that chase. Like I said, their whole city is an underground city in the side of a hill that they got chased out of it by their own stuff they built. Like they're so clever that the AI basically took over their city.
So they're living in the Matrix.
Yeah. So they ended up going to Ironforge. Now, Ironforge, in the middle of Ironforge, there's a reason it's called Ironforge. There is a lava. Remember how I described Stormdown? With the lava running out of buckets in the middle of the city into large vats of lava that is used for the forging process. That was directly Ironforge. Like I stole that straight from Ironforge, and I can show you guys pictures of stuff. There are firearms. What if you want to use like rifle or have a boomstick, we're just gonna reskin a bow, a long bow, for stuff like that. Yeah. The humans, the area around Stormwind where you'll be is Elwyn Forest. Working into Westfall, which is more of a barren, like kind of sandy beach area on one side, leading into a darker side that is there. As you move through Elwyn Forest across the river to the south, there is I forget the name of the zone, but it's like a dark, creepy forest. It would be great for Halloween stuff, and there's a whole story with it. We probably aren't gonna be in that. I'll get you maps. I'm debating whether I want to use you just pull the map from the game and use it, or if I want to use just like a modified version that has all the touchstone landmarks. I'll figure that out soon. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
She said elves, they're kind of the magic, but they do more of a druid thing, druid or cleric, not wizard sorcerer, because that wasn't one of the ones you included.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Exactly. That's exactly a good way to think of it. They're more nature, and in World of Warcraft, the clerics are called priests. It's just a different bent.
It's weird because in Hearthstone they're called priests.
Yeah. Well, Hearthstone. Anything you know about Hearthstone? Anything you know about Hearthstone will be representative. Like, all that stuff will be very, very familiar.
Blizzard uses Blizzard stuff for Blizzard activities.
Yeah. Now Microsoft uses Blizzard stuff for Blizzard.
I should
activities.
update Hearthstone. That was always fun.
That's just like any collectible card game. I'm in for the beginning, and then it gets just to be way too much.
Yep. I was really good for like the first 2-3 years of that, and then I'm like, nope, the collections have spiraled out of control.
I loved Hearthstone, but I can't.
That's why I like Slay the Spire.
That's a good one.
Slay the Spire is a fun one. If Ryan, Jeff, if you have not played Slay the Spire, you should. Jeff, you can get it on Switch.
Nope.
And phone, I think, even. It's a deck building game, like you build as you go on, and it's fucking cool. Any other questions about the races or the classes?
No, I mean, I don't. My questions are more for the guys, like, what are you thinking? What do you want to do? I know, Kooch, you tend to lean towards, like, the cleric end of life. Or is that just...
Yeah, I guess if I would take a lead on decision making, I'd be a cleric or a paladin. Those are the two that I would understand the most in a new world. At least I would understand my character.
So I guess let's put it at that, Ryan. Why don't you come up with the first, at least kind of lock in the first character and type, so that way, because I think you're probably the one who's going to want to spend the least amount of time researching something new. So, but if you do, then I'll leave that on you to decide if you'd like to play something you've never played before.
I mean, do you guys have a preference? Was anybody else thinking cleric or paladin, or does that?
No, I was thinking more along the lines of doing something that I haven't done before, like the druid or ranger or cleric. I don't think I've done before. I'd have to look at the list, but I'm down for whatever.
All right, well, I'll take a paladin build then.
All right, Ryan. So if you're going to be a paladin, you can be a human or a dwarf. What would you like to be? This is the fun thing about
it. A dwarf sounds fun. So
dwarven paladin, excellent.
Let's do that.
I can send you guys all kinds of fun pictures too. Like, just search "WoW Dwarven Paladin." You'll get some neat pictures, and there's be all kinds of cool artwork for you to look at.
That'll be the interesting thing, because we'll be getting a completely different set if you were searching D&D race class combinations. If you search these, because they're definitely a different world.
D&D is kind of an open book at this point. Like, there isn't any restriction there.
Mm-hmm.
But I always think back to that Mark Rosewater article. Sometimes those restrictions breed creativity.
Yep. I I still say that all the time.
Yep.
Tom, what are you thinking? Because I was looking through all of my characters, and even though I think Warlock was only one level one time, I have not played a Wizard, a Paladin, or a Bard. So I've played just about anything and can play just about anything. So if you have something you specifically wanted to fill out in your repertoire.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the cleric or the ranger. Do you have
Tom is the healer. You guys are gonna die.
Jesus.
I'm leaning towards cleric or
I'm
ranger.
mixing this on air and I'm diving through a closed window.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you're going to be the Ellie for this campaign.
He's learned a lot since then.
That's true.
Have
That's
I?
true.
Have I really?
Okay, he's
If you
experienced.
have, you've
a lot.
forgotten it in the
Yeah,
last 2
yeah.
months.
I think cleric. I think I would like to try my hand at cleric. I think a cleric paladin group sounds kind of fun and interesting.
Clerics would be anyone but a gnome. Human, dwarf, elf.
Well, Kooch, you're a dwarf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll be an elf. Because we all know how much dwarves and elves get together.
Elf, cleric.
Yeah. Yeah, do dwarves and elves have that same kind of relationship in
No.
that kind of a
A li-
rivalry?
A little, but it isn't the brutal thing that Tolkien's world is, where they hate each other.
I could see these two making a canon, though.
I mean, if they
Alright.
want to, they
I'm
absolutely
not
could.
gonna
I mean, there
hate
could
them,
be.
but there's going to be a lot of short jokes.
Yeah. The elves are one of the tallest races. Like, out of the Alliance races, they are the tallest race.
All
So.
right. So then, question: since paladins have some spells, clerics have some spells. Would you want another spellcaster, or do we need a tank? Because I could go fighter or barbarian, or I
I
could
think
go
the
wizard.
paladin is going to be your tanky guy. I would think. At least the way Ryan builds paladins. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Got
do you
Ryan as a
like
paladin
do you
again?
like a
Really?
spellcaster build, Genius?
I
Do
mean,
what you want.
Ryan builds wizards that he runs into the front line with, so I'm not sure.
I'd probably do that anyway, even if I was a wizard.
Right.
So.
It's probably good he's not the wizard then.
You're a wizard,
well-
Harry.
Well, I haven't played a wizard, so I will probably take that unless you guys think we need.
No, you do that. That sounds fun.
Okay,
So
human or gnome?
I'll probably just go with human then, since the dwarfs. I've got gnomes in other campaigns. I guess I have humans too, but we'll go straight up human wizard.
Human wizard. Awesome. That looks like a party. Paladin, cleric, wizard,
That is a
dwarf, elf, human.
freaking party.
That sounds like fun. Now, this is really kind of a thing on the spot, and we'll push creativity. Do you guys have a name idea now? Now that you know what you're playing?
Do you guys think male, female? Have you thought about that?
Ooh, that's another question.
We can work our way towards names. We can.
Yeah. Ryan, are you going to be
I
a
better
lady
play
again?
Yeah, I better play a dude this time. Like, I don't really know how dwarf sensuality functions. So,
These dwarven females do not have beards. Well, actually, I think I've seen a few of them with beards, honestly. They may have beards. Not all of them do, though.
I'm going to be a
Speaking
dude.
of female dwarves, Dragon Age's Veilguard, sorry for the insert, looks fucking baller.
It really does.
Hurting looks better
I'll be
than
a dude
ever.
just because I suck at lady voices.
Well, just to round things out, then I might as well go female. But you may not get a voice out of me, but I will. I'll see
Female
what I can.
human wizard.
I mean, I'll never mind. I'll do a girl, Genius, if you want to do a dude. That's fine.
No, I have no problem.
You can all be dudes as far as I'm concerned. It makes it more fun when I introduce a female character.
Some healthy competition.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would be a hilarious thing. That's just kind of a thing between the three of you. You're always trying to see who. There's like an ongoing bet of who can bed the barkeep. And then each place you guys go. That's awful, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all carry the same illnesses with us because we've all been with the same women.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Well, that's the show, folks. This has been Two Nerds One Quest. We are shutting the show down. It's been fun. We had
show
a good
got
run.
a virus, folks. We're done.
We had a good run.
Oh no, kidding. Only kidding. Seriously though, then are you doing a woman, Jeff or Ryan?
I'll do dude then.
Ryan's a
All
man.
right, I'll stick with female.
All right,
I don't know that other than Bree, I think was the only one, which that again was only like 1 or 2 sessions. I think all the rest of my characters have been dudes. Oh wait, no, I did play for that Easy D6 one shot. I played Jairus's great granddaughter, but that was not D&D or Pathfinder.
Nope.
So we'll go with that.
Random name generator.
Yeah, I
Favorite names you like using in RPGs when you put your name in?
I could be Aaron on
Is
us.
there are there family names or specific to your world or specific to World of Warcraft that we should have like specific, like in D&D typically elves have elvish sounding names and dwarves have like
I am so used to seeing Bobwin the Bob for like character names. In World of Warcraft, it isn't gonna matter what you call yourself, really. Be us. Like there is this is influenced by World of Warcraft. It isn't World of Warcraft. And that's where I want you guys to understand. Yes, I will answer questions. I'm going to base some of my decisions on World of Warcraft lore, but this is our game. So if it sounds elvish to you, it works. Even if it may sound like an elvish impersonator to a Warcraft fan. Oh, nothing? Damn. I've used that joke too many times.
I was busy I forgot about titles, so I've been busy writing some
Oh
titles.
shit, yeah, it's been a while.
Uh-huh.
Titles have been Bobwin the Bob made the title list. Nice. All right.
Names.
So-
I'll come up with. I'll use probably. I use name generators just because that's what I do until I think of something funny like both of these. Definitely wasn't name generated.
Oh, you're not female. You're a male. I was gonna say she's got 3 names: Aaron on crack. Not the Aaron on. And something a little crazy about your character.
All right,
Jeff, do you have
move
any
on.
ideas? I know you're really creative, and you probably have pre-written characters.
Yeah, I probably don't have any human wizards, so that'll be interesting to
Let
see
alone
what
female human lizard.
right.
Jenny.
So
Jenny from the block.
I probably will go with like at least from a first name perspective, something relatively normal, common, or a variant of a normal name.
You know what would be funny, Genius, is if you had a male name and I had a female name.
Or you
That'd be
both
fun
had
to remember.
just non like binary
Like
names,
gender neutral?
that are, yeah, very like Alex.
Hey, I'm Aaron.
Now, what would be really
Yeah,
fun
Aaron,
is
Alex.
so what if Tom had a name that
Kelly.
sounded like like Rayan or something, and I had a name like Norma. So you really get confused when you start saying, "Wait, did you say Norman or Norma? Did you say Ryan or Rain?" Really mess with the DM, right? That's always fun.
No one is allowed to use the name you or me.
Or anymore.
I'll be a cleric named Sue.
That'd be
We'll all have Ryan.
a cleric
names.
named Sue. That'd be good. Ryan, do you have anything? You sounded like you were going to talk before.
Yeah, I mean, I can come up with a name.
Yeah.
I like Tumgrin, and then
They call him Tom.
I'm thinking Tumgrin Paktua.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, I love it.
I like the slow drink. That's very good.
Not being dramatic at all.
Oh, jeez. All I can think of. Have you ever seen the movie Now You See Me Too?
I haven't seen the first one.
I have. Mm-hmm.
I would highly recommend you watch them both, Tom.
I know. We had
Yeah.
this discussion. I feel like we had this discussion
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's fun. It's fun.
It's phenomenal. But you said Tumgrin, and all I can think of is, oh, he had a little tum-tum. And stay home. Fucking Woody Harrelson's great in those movies.
I would
Oh.
have said Woody Harrelson's great. Full stop.
Yeah, you can just stop. Woody Harrelson's great in movies
Uh-huh.
and shows. He was great on Cheers, too.
He really was.
It's so weird for me seeing him in anything that he's an intelligent person after Cheers, because that was kind of the like almost I would have believed that was the typecasting he would have had for the rest of his acting career,
Mhm.
and he has done some.
He did well
very
to break out of that,
different-
yeah.
Yeah, because some people really get stuck in those roles.
All right. Let's see. Trying to think of
I might
things.
have to look and see what's all in the new player's handbook to see if as a wizard, if there's
Oh, yeah.
the type of wizard would affect what I might want to be called, or if that would just be a nickname.
Yeah,
So-
because there are more. They did in the new book. They got the subclasses are more evened out. Where there was like some subclasses, like in the 2014 book, there was some classes that only had 2 subclasses and some that had like 6. Now across the board, they all have 4. It sounds like.
Yeah, because like clerics and wizards had a ridiculous amount.
Yeah,
And,
because
like,
you have an
druid
abjuration
only had
savant.
2.
Oh wait, let's see, an abjurer. 2 wizard subclasses: abjurer, diviner, evoker, and illusionist. Those are the 4 subclasses of the wizard. Which is
I keep wanting to open my old player's handbook, but there's no point in having it next to me at this point.
I really gotta get my hands on
I
this
do think, John, I am gonna go with the name
Yes.
Sue because because elves have
Or
really
name
long
Sue.
names. So my name's gonna be like
Yeah.
Swelthanan Tush blah blah blah, and nobody can ever pronounce my name, so they call me Sue.
Oh, okay, that sounds great. Sue,
That sounds
an
fun.
elf named Sue. There's a bard somewhere in some other pocket dimension that wrote a song about you.
Mhm.
Oh, let me look. Paladin.
And every time he
What do we got?
introduces himself, my name is Sue. How do you do?
Paladins have Oath of Devotion, Oath of Glory, Oath of the Ancients, and Oath of Vengeance. Those are the 4 oaths that Paladins have now for subclasses. Then, what is
All
the
right.
other class we have? We have a Cleric. Where's the Cleric? Oops. Let me go back here. Paladin. Where the fuck is the Cleric? Let me go. I don't. Class continue now. Oh, there we go. Class. Ha. Cleric. Clerics subclasses. Life domain. Light domain. Oh, he's not even there. Tom, put your earbuds in. Tom, put your earbuds in so you can hear this. Cleric subclasses are Life Domain, Light Domain, War Domain, and I missed one. Trickery Domain.
These are in the book. These are in the handbook.
Yep, these are in those are the 4 subclasses for the 2024 handbook.
Trickster, huh?
Yeah, Trickery Domain.
Do they all not get their subclass until level 3?
It looks like they're it looks like
Because that used to be like druids got it at level 2, but clerics started out at level 1 with it.
Yeah, so I'll probably
That was level 1 or level 2. Now it's level 3.
Yep, it looks like they're all at level 3, so what I will likely do is start you at level 3 so you have your subclass. We'll do that. We'll start at level 3.
Perfect.
We'll give you some things to do there. What can I tell you about the world? Stormwind is a port city. It is a human city with large fortified walls. There's a moat surrounding the entire city. On the western coast is the port, and on the eastern side of the city is Stormwind Castle, where the king lives. It has moats running throughout the entirety of it. Like you'll be walking down the street and you'll walk through an archway and there'll be a bridge to cross a moat to get to a different district. There is a large sanctuary district with a church in it. And a big fountain in the middle. When you first walk into Stormwind, you walk through an arch and there are several large statues of famous humans, like 6 of them that along this long walkway. I'll be able to describe this stuff so well because I've been in that game for so long. But then you come through a main gate and there is shops. It is a trade district right in the front side of it. There's like a crafting district in the northeast that also leads to the tram is in the northeast of the city that runs underground to Iron Forge. Like I said, on the western side, the northern side's where the sanctuary is, and beyond the sanctuary there's like a natural park area, and then the dock district's on the west side of things. Though there's a wizard's enclave in the southwest corner of the city with a wizard's tower stuff. Our wizard will know about that stuff. There will be certain things I will like shoot you a message and go, hey, you know this, and I'll get all that stuff to you this week. One of you will have a contact for the purposes of the storyline. And yeah, this is gonna be a good time. I have a feeling this is gonna be a fun. I like taking my favorite media and making it into adventures. And when it's already an adventure to begin with, and I only got to tweak a couple of things to make it function as a D&D adventure, it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier.
The toughest thing is going to be pruning it to a concise adventure, because I could let it go wild and run this thing crazy, but I gotta prune it so that the through line runs to the end of where I want to end it. Now, is there more beyond it? Yes, there will be more story beyond it if we ever want to revisit it. But there's a concise storyline through what I want to tell, with a very definitive end boss.
So as a cleric, I need to have a god, right?
Do they? I think they do. Let me actually pull that up. Let's pull this up. Let's see.
Or a deity of some
That is
sort.
something I did not think of, because the gods are very not. Let's do
Question.
Yes.
When I said wizard human, also mage human female, is that Jaina? Fits all of those?
She's a mage human female. Yes, she is probably the most notable, especially on the Alliance side. Like she would be someone where someone said Jaina Proudmoore. Yeah, you guys would all know who that is. she is basically,
She the daughter of the sea.
yes. Oh yeah. Her father was.
I feel like somebody's doing some Googling.
Yes.
No,
You're gonna find all kinds of shit. And
well,
more.
when I googled for artwork, I was like, oh wait, I know this. Maybe I shouldn't be a female because I think that I'll probably end up modeling after that.
That's fine.
in
You
the
could
end,
be
but-
you could be her biggest fan, honestly.
Oh yeah.
What you grew up your life hearing about her and wanting to be like her and know her because she's a prominent figure in the world where we're at as far as storyline and timeline of the story. She's a massively prominent figure in the lore. So like
So a
on the
role
level of the
model
king.
for-
Yeah, she would be an idol / role model for. Tom, I'm gonna tell you what. Find a Forgotten Realms god, and I will try and find the Warcraft equivalent to it. And if I can't, then we may just have a god in this world of this version of Azeroth that doesn't exist in World of Warcraft. It's my story, damn it! I can do that. It's inspired by WoW, not WoW itself.
Done.
There are old gods like Cthulhu-ish style gods. I'm trying to find a god list because I saw some and I'm like, I recognize these names. Oh god, there's all kinds of them. There's a list of like 40 gods here. The Sky Father, Titan, the Tide Mother, Ulatek. There's all the troll gods and Agramar.
Are there specific dwarf gods?
There are. I think.
Or could I just say money or
the god? The god of creation or the god of wealth? Yeah, you could absolutely do that. I'm on a page. There are 42 different ones,
Apparently, there's a Wowpedia.
including generic deity.
It'll be anytime Ryan
All
references his god, you should have like a little sound clip where it looks like Ryan's talking and it says God or like love God.
Ryan prays to generic god of protection.
Yes,
There is
exactly
Elune.
like that.
Elune, the moon goddess, is an elven god. The Earth Mother is a famous, like the druid god, goddess, I should say. Yeah,
There's a
it would
turtle
be.
god.
Is there?
Vulcan.
Are you on the Wowpedia?
Yeah. It doesn't say much about them, so you have to click each one to see what they are. But the one says a turtle
Yeah.
god, worshipped by the
Yeah.
pygmies on the Lost Isles.
And that
According
would be
to-
their.
It's not really a god, according to someone.
Yeah.
It's funny. But it's
So, like
John's
I
world,
said-
and we can make things up. We're world building with John, right?
Yeah. Do you want to? I mean, what type of god do you want? Do you want a god of money?
Oh, god of protection, I would need. Or
A god of protection.
Yep.
Oh, let's see. This sounds familiar. Nope. That would not be the god of protection.
Trojan, the god of
I'm
protection.
trying to look for like the dwarven style names that I remember from freaking.
I feel like that went right over John's head.
It did. I didn't even hear it.
I said
What'd you say?
I said Trojan, the god of protection.
God of protection and reproduction. It's very much he's the one that decides whether or not the condom breaks.
Also, randomly, the god of sheep.
Not a coincidence.
Oh my gosh. Well, there were the first ones, which are like Titans. And then there are the Forgers, who were they're the ones that shaped the world of Draenor, which is where the orcs came from. Aman'Thul is a...
I'll do some digging.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just search World of Warcraft Dwarven God. See what comes up. There's all kinds of things. And that's the neat thing is you can... It's likely that if you do a search like that and find something, I'm going to know what you're talking about.
Perfect.
And if I don't, I will go look it up quick and find out where it touches my knowledge of World of Warcraft, and then we'll be fine. So, or if you want to look up a Forgotten Realms deity and see if I can find it'll be a conversation. So,
All right. So, how do you feel about wrapping this up? It feels like we've hit a natural.
oh yeah, a lot of we're into the point where we need to do some bookwork.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
Let's-
any possibility, from an artwork standpoint, that a human would have green skin, and would that be an issue?
Well, here's a question: have you been to see Willy Wonka lately?
The only thing I could think of is that you got into some sort of accident with a gnomish contraption that ended up dyeing your skin green.
I'm into it.
Because there would
Maybe
be
when
no
you're-
like.
Maybe when you were a young
ancestor,
wizard, you volunteered to do some gnomish testing. Like, we can write backstory to have your character look at it however you want.
Okay.
Like, but
I didn't know if
that
there
would
was
be
a-
the type of thing where, like, some gnome, when you were, like, 18, said, here, come help me test some of this stuff, and then you ended up getting caught in some explosion or something to turn your skin green. Like, if
Yeah,
you go
we
and look at...
didn't say either.
If you go look at there are two very distinct style pictures of Jaina Proudmoore that you'll find. One's where all of her hair is completely blonde, and one where she's got a real bright white streak through her blonde hair. And there was something that tragically happened to her that did that to her. So, and she changed. That's right around the time of where the Daughter of the Sea stuff came about, and yeah. We're pre all that stuff, but
Excellent.
Okay.
it'll be fun.
All right.
But yes, there is bookwork to be done, characters to be created, and
Yes.
we will go next
so-
week, 8 a.m.
I know this is something we can do, but John, do you want to create a campaign and invite
Yeah.
us to it?
That
And
was-
the end?
One of my statements, and the other statement was, if you want to throw in Discord to any restrictions on equipment.
I will get you what
Just
you.
what's starting
There'll be the
equipment,
starting
or-
equipment, and then I'll give you you can have a rare level item or something like that. I'll figure out what that is.
Okay, cool.
Whatever we would have gotten
Specifically.
from level 1 to level 3.
3, yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
Awesome.
All right. We are Two Nerds on Quest. We are here again Sunday mornings, 8:30. Actually, 8 o'clock. 8 a.m. Central Time. new time, new channel. Who dis? No, wait. New time, same channel. Who dis? There we go. Follow us wherever you can follow us. Twitch.tv/TommMNorm, TOMMNORM. bit.ly/nerdtube. We are also live on YouTube. That is our link to our YouTube channel. Patreon.com/Two Nerds on Quest if you would like to follow us there and support us. $1 gets you the unedited podcast with pre and post show content. Yeah, just support us, follow us. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Let us know, give us comments wherever you can get your podcast from. Podcast comes out normally Thursday mornings, and then we record Sunday morning. So there's a bit of time between. So the patrons get the podcast 5 days early, because the pre and post show podcast comes up this afternoon, and then the regular edited podcast comes out Thursday morning. So patrons do get a little bit of a benefit there as well. That being said, for me, Kooch, for Genius, and for the DMJC, Bitches, we back.
Warcraft-inspired adventure for the fall 2024 season of Two Nerds One Quest, coming next week.
Huzzah!
Can't wait.
Huzzah! Ah.